In today's episode, I take a look at a setup on gold, Karabu shares his long-term view on pound JPY, and EXE takes a look again at Bitcoin. As always, we also have some action from our Discord trading room. Enjoy. Welcome to another weekly market review here with FX price action setups. Before we get started, I just want to wish all the participants in the FX Sniper Challenge good luck. The challenge will start at the next market open on the 30th of September. There is still some time to enter. You can find the information in the description below. We also have a little pre-challenge episode, and you can find a link to that at the end of this episode. But without further ado, let's jump into the setups. All right, the chart I want to discuss this week is that of gold, and I've got the weekly time frame in front of me. Now, what I want to note on gold is we had this big impulsive move, we had the contracting flat, and then we had the next impulsive move. And this came up all the way to this 1555 area, which is this weekly order block that we marked off. And I've also marked off this little level down here, which is the first sort of resistance level that I could find. And we're going to be looking for a move a little bit lower, at least into this level. Before possibly going higher or maybe even making a much bigger correction. But we're going to switch down to the smaller time frames quickly, and we're going to look for a setup on there. All right, I've moved down to the 4-hour time frame, and as you guys can see, this was at 1,555 level that we hit, and the market then came back and it ran those stops. Now this was the breaker block, the last down move before the market ran these highs. Market pushed down and then it came back into this breaker block, touched it perfectly, and we actually had a nice little sell setup at this level last week. And we're still looking for much lower prices on this chart. You can also note here that this market is making a bit of a head and shoulders. We had the big consolidation here, and now a similar consolidation here. Now, what we're going to look for next week is something similar to what happened here after this market moved down and ran the stops. We're going to look for something similar here when the market ran down and took these highs into this level. We're going to be looking for this level to be touched next week, and then hopefully we'll find a setup over here to go short. But I'm going to move down to the 1-hour time frame quickly. Right, so moving down to the 1-hour time frame, as you guys can see, I marked this little breaker block here, this last down move before the market ran up into this this level and came crashing down. So next week I'm expecting the market to go into this level, perhaps form an expanding flat, and then we're going to look for this move lower, at least to this weekly resistance at 1450 roundabout, and possibly even lower. So next week we'll be looking for, on the 50-minute time frame, we'll be looking for some reversal setups in this area, and hopefully we'll find a nice one. Just moving on the 50-minute time frame, as you guys can see, this market is making a bit of a flag, although I doubt I'll be looking for the long. I'm more interested in the short, and like I said, once we get to this area, I'll look for a potential reversal pattern to go short. This was actually the little level we marked off in our trading room, and when the market touched this area, this is where we got short. And hopefully next week we can find another little setup. So yeah, putting it all together, like I say, this weekly resistance at 1453 is my first target, but I believe we might even make a much bigger correction to this breakout level, which will come in closer to 1350. So quite a potential big move that we're looking at on gold. So definitely one I'll be keeping my eyes on next week. Thanks, guys.
Good day, traders. Welcome to our weekly market analysis. The setup I'm looking at is the pound JPY, using the monthly, the weekly, and the daily on my right hand side as an entry time frame. Now looking at the monthly time frame, we currently have this demand zone which is currently in control, and price is currently reacting to it. Now currently looking at this candle, if we continue to get price rallying higher, when this candle closed, it would have created a bullish engulfing candle, which could signal a potential move higher. Now we already have a supply zone on the monthly, which is already retested. Now this supply zone, it's linked to this daily supply zone, and it has already been retested. So chances are when price returns back into this supply zone, it will probably take it out. We previously had this supply zone removed by this demand zone. And we know for an opposing for a zone to be created, it must have removed another zone. In this case, we have supply removed by demand. So what we could expect during the week, it is for price to pull into this demand zone and take off. I am looking at the 140 level for first entry for first TP, considering it is a support and resistance level, but the long-term bias is bullish, and I am looking at that supply zone there. It the daily time frame. So this is my view on the pound JPY. I hope that you have enjoyed the video, and good luck with the sniper challenge.
Good morning, traders. Happy Sunday. 6 a.m. here, taking a look at the price on the chart. As you guys know, 7 weeks to 3 months for the video. 13.8, 12.2 levels, looking for an opportunity level to take to the downside of that 8.3 region, expressing it could go as low as 78, wanting to be out of a sell at 8,300, watching for a point of control at 8,300. Ultimately, price coming down here, wicking into it, getting a nice reaction back to the upside, coming and closing below lower, and then using 8,300 as a resistance level. So with that, where I'm going to be looking at price right now, usually what happens when Bitcoin sells off, it continues to sell off until we look for our wicks created to the left here. So with some more analytical price action in place, with some more data in place, to me, do I believe we're going to go to all-time highs from here? Absolutely not. Higher time frame objectives indicate that we are to go lower before we go higher. From a day trade perspective, or maybe a little swing trade, we could be looking at where are the buyers at right now in a coordination to their stop losses. Where are the stop losses in place? Why are stop losses important? And to think of that in a market maker perspective, because more than likely big money is going to be filling right behind the stop loss levels. Why is that? Simply put, because right behind the stop losses provide liquidity at which they can inject a lot of money into the market. So with that being said, price being created down here, all the way down here, do I believe price is going to pivot and go higher? I do think more from a perspective of that we could come down here into this region, 7674, right behind the stop losses, weekly chart, acting as support. And then I'll be looking for basically a scenario at the top of this range to take price to, and then for a continuation lower. I don't think we're going to come down here, wick into it, and then go for the trend line. I know a lot of people want to do that. Retail price patterns and retail psychology is going to be basically multiple touches here. It's going to act as resistance where we'll come down. People will buy and anticipate it to go higher into the 9.5 region, or some people are anticipating it for it to go to all-time highs. Could I be absolutely wrong on that? Definitely a possibility. I could be right every single week, every single month in a row, but then, I could be wrong. So keep that in mind. Make sure you be protective on your account. For me, if I were to take a buy, it'd be in the 7674 region. Could go even a little bit lower down here into this. This region has not been tested yet. So 73.58 overlap level. So for me, that's where I would want to take a scenario buy at. I would not be buying it in the middle of the range here. Could it go up and I miss without it? Absolutely, but I do believe it'd just be a scenario where we'd be filling to go lower in any case. Take a look at the monthly chart. Distribution being caught into this region, as seen to the left here. Now is the scenario to the right here. So price being trapped, monthly candle close. Maybe we come down, hit 7,400, 7,600, 73.58. And we wick into it, and then we open the month for another move up, where it's going to look extremely bullish on the chart. We get to 87.35. They create another wick, trap everybody, and by the end of the month, next month, we see another scenario like this, right? All of these candles started off bullish, right? Trapping people, making the majority of the market think up, and then coming right back down. Majority of the market thinking up, right back down, giving us opportune levels to fill at the highest ceiling of the market, to take it lower, to take it lower, and to take it lower. So for me, when crypto creates an upside opportunity, we see upside opportunity very strongly, and the same thing on the flip side for the downside for that. So being protective, make sure you guys are protective. Like I said, if I'm going to buy right here down into this region, and then have my stop loss probably a couple $100 lower, and then having roughly about a $1,500 take profit in place. That's a good risk reward for me. 7 to 1, 8 to 1, 9 to 1, 10 to 1, depending on where you fill at. Not needing to be right a lot of the time, and a majority of the time in the market, when you have a high risk to reward, that's going to be the opportune present scenario for smart money, big money to come into the market. So with that, hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. We'll continue to monitor the market. It's been good so far. We'll see if we get some more luck on our side here at this $7,400, $7,600 region. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful Sunday.